Hi, Julia. How are you doing?
I'm good. Lovely to see you.
And you too. Thank you so much for joining us. Very excited to have you on and for you to talk to us as part of the Level Up TV Meet the Host segment. So, tell us, or rather, tell the viewers a little bit more about yourself and what you're passionate about and what's brought you to this point.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm Julia Hart. I absolutely love helping and supporting women, specifically young women, and helping others to find their passions and to really think about their dreams that they had when they were younger, because we all had those, and to try to live out those dreams. So that's a real passion for me. I had quite a turbulent young education. So I came from some difficulties where I found school incredibly hard, and I didn't leave school with any education whatsoever. And was pretty told that maybe things weren't going to go well for me. But I had a really strong entrepreneurial spirit. So very quickly, I did find myself, though I was working for others, I was always looking for opportunities of what I could do for myself. And I trained as a fitness instructor. And very, very quickly, I found that being a practical job, it was absolutely perfect for me. I loved it. I found it thoroughly enjoyable, but I didn't particularly enjoy working for other people, and I really wanted to see whether I could do something on my own. And so I did. So I quit my job and I thought, right, I'm going to be a personal trainer. But in those days, because it's going back quite some time, you didn't even need to have qualifications to be a personal trainer. There were no qualifications to become a personal trainer. So I just started training clients myself, and it was really successful. And I absolutely loved it, really, really enjoyed it. Never really looked back after that, right up until I had my own children. And when I had my children, I again wanted to continue working because I've always loved working. I've always loved being busy and active and helping and supporting others. So I then found myself working in an office, which really, really wasn't particularly very me. So I was always, again, looking for that opportunity to do something for myself. And I came up with an idea. Just came up with an idea that I was going to set up a company, a children's events company. And I found another lady who was doing something quite similar. And we had lots of conversations. She was absolutely an amazing lady. I absolutely adored her and still do. And we set up a children's events company. And so I very quickly developed all sorts of different theatrical ideas and storytelling, which again, my children helped me do because they were little at the time, which was great fun. I dressed up in wonderful Cinderella outfits and all sorts of wonderful things. And I went out and delivered children's parties, which again was really successful, so successful that I couldn't get enough staff to actually meet the demand that I had.
Wow.
So it was great fun, really, really enjoyable. But I learned so much about business and developing a business, which I just thrived on learning and understanding marketing and sales and all that side of things, which I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed. And when we got to 2009 and we had the big crash, I decided to sell the business, which I did. So thereafter, I was again really always looking for my own potential opportunity. But I had decided that I wanted to go and do something within the community. So I went and worked for a charity, a children's charity called the Children's Trust. And they look after children who have had serious brain injury. absolutely turn their lives around. It's phenomenal, the work that they do. And I found that a really, really humbling experience, and I really enjoyed it. So I worked as a senior member of the fundraising team. And again, it was all to do with events and organising and putting big, great fun events on a yearly basis, which again, I did really enjoy. But I always had this little entrepreneurial side to me. So always looking for an avenue to try and find something. So when I felt that my time had come to an end at the Children's Trust, I was then just looking for a different angle continuously. Until it took me a few years, I then came across a lady who, funnily enough, had an advert in the paper, or it was an article in the paper, which was actually connected to the very first lady that I had done the children's entertainment with. So it drew me to read this article, and I thought, oh, I'm going to Google that lady, which I did. And as soon as I read about her and I spoke to her, I knew what I was going to do. Absolutely knew. I was going to work in property. I was going to go and learn, and had my mentor, who was the lady that I had met, Belinda Gratian, and I went and worked with her for a year. I learned unbelievable amounts of information. It was absolutely awesome. So I've now worked in property for 5 years, and I absolutely love it. I still work with Belinda because she's become a really, really great friend. So from being my mentor, we still work together. And I thoroughly enjoy working in property because I find that it's so creative. You can do so many different things. And it's something that you can do if you don't have very much money to start with at all, or if you have got some funds, or you've got a way of borrowing some funds in some way, then you can move your business forward. And I love the fact that you can go from nothing right up to being financially secure. And I think that brings me back to the most important element to me as a female, is that I'm financially secure. And I really am very, very passionate about women being able to earn their own money, being totally independent if they need to be, and have that security from under their own steam. I never want to or like to see somebody who feels that they're beholden to somebody else, or maybe their husband or the breadwinner within their family. So I've now got a beautiful 21-year-old daughter who I'm passionate about seeing grow and develop, and making sure that, again, she has that ability to make her own choices in life, because it's really important that we can make our own choices. And it all comes down to mindset. And going back to the beginning of my story, where I was told that I really wouldn't amount to very much when I left school, and I wasn't going to be very successful, I was never going to allow that to stop me. In fact, it drove me forward, because I felt in my heart that I'm not going to have anybody tell me that I can't do what I really want to do in my life. And it's not all about academics. It's not all about whether you can, write essays, or have the ability to do mathematical equations. It's also about personality, character, and being able to find the experts. And that's where I see myself in my role now. I see myself as the conductor. So I'm not the expert, but I know lots of experts, and I will find those experts, and I will draw them together, and I will create my team. And that's what I've done. So I sit in the middle. I've created my team of experts, and that has enabled me to drive my business forward, even though I'm not the expert. So if I can do that, I know that other people have the ability to do that. And I think it's really important that people really believe in themselves. And it's all to do what's in the mind. It's your self-talk. And I think, again, that's very important. It took me many, many years to understand about how I was talking to myself in my own mind. And in my own mind, and in all of our minds, we carry a lot that we've experienced through our lives. And they can be sometimes not always telling us the correct answers. That your self-talk is talking from an emotional side of experience. And it's about learning to step forward when you feel fearful and think, no, I'm not going to take that course of action this next time. I'm actually going to step forward and think that maybe I'm going to be able to step into the unknown and see what's going to happen. And that's a really hard thing to do in life, isn't it?
It is.
Very, very hard to step out of that comfort zone, to push yourself. But I have had the ability to do that. And I would like very much, very passionately, to be able to give other people the support to be able to do that, or the ability to think, maybe I'm going to give it a go. Maybe I'm going to just step out of that comfort zone. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've chosen the subjects that I have chosen. And I really like to talk about self-belief. I'd like to talk about your inner voice and the blocks that you find yourself facing, because nobody's perfect and everybody makes mistakes. And where we actually learn from is making the mistakes. So if we don't make those mistakes, how can we learn and get better? So mistakes are a real positive, and I've turned mistakes into a positive in my life. Not easy, because it was a block for me. And I've had to really work through those blocks, and I've taken a long time, probably until my mid-40s, until I really felt that I started to be in control, and that has got better and better. And I'd love to bring some great guests on, and one of those guests I'd love to bring is Belinda Gresham, who was my mentor, and she again has a fabulous story of living. She was married for 20 years, decided to leave her husband with 2 small children. She'd never had a career, but she moved into property, and she became a millionaire of her own strength of character and self-belief. And her story is phenomenal. It really is. And it inspired me. And I know that it can inspire others. And I think by sharing our difficulties, I was dyslexic, or I am dyslexic. So learning was tough for me. So I haven't always found things easy, but I haven't let it stop me. Inside, sometimes I want it to stop me because I'm scared. I'm going to do even something later on today that I'm going to go on to a panel with a group of experts. And again, I'm not an expert, so my heart's fluttering. I'm feeling those emotions, but I tell myself, step in, step forward, and there you will find another place, a new place for you. But I'm open and honest. I don't tell anybody I'm an expert. I think that is very important, that you open that and you say, I'm not an expert, but I'm here to help and support and give my knowledge or my experience that I can share with you. And if that helps, then that's a wonderful thing that I can bring and do for people.
And one of the things that you mentioned, Julia, and I think it's so important for people to really, to really take this on board, is that if you have an idea that you think can work or can be a success, or even if it's one that you just want to test, you don't have to know it all. No. You don't have to know everything about everything.
No.
Most people who start businesses, and I'm much the same, I'm developing apps and working in blockchain with renewable energy, tons of different things, which I started off knowing absolutely nothing about. And as the journey progresses, you learn enough about what you need to know to get in the right people who do know.
Exactly.
Like you say, you know, surround yourself with those experts and the expertise and the skills, as well as knowing enough to effectively manage and run and grow your business.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, if there's anything that people should take away, it's that you don't necessarily need to know it all or be an expert. It's just about having that will, that motivation, that drive to be willing to, and it's not about not learning anything at all, but willing to, you know, step into it and learn what you need to know. But absolutely phenomenal, you know, your story, the story of your mentor, and really excited to see who you have on the show. And I'm sure our viewers will be, you know, in terms of what you have to share in your own insights and experience and advice and tips and techniques, and everything that your network has to offer too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would love to have the opportunity to do that. And for me personally, I've hid behind a brand for quite a few years. So again, this is, for me, this is new, and it's time to step out and show my face from behind the brand. So this is a step forward for me. And so I want to, again, to share that with others, that this hasn't come to me easily to be able to sit and to do this. I've often hidden away a little bit, worried about criticism or other people's opinions. But again, I've worked on that in my inner self, and I've worked through a lot of that. So it's now my time to come forth, to step forward, to share my story. And when I do share it, I find I've had some wonderful, wonderful messages from people, which is amazing. It's really, really wonderful to be able to touch other people. And if I can just do that for one other woman, seeing as this is Women's Day, which is a really important day in our calendar, isn't it? You know,
it is.
It would be really unique to be able to bring that to others that have struggled and found things difficult. You know, I'm now from 5 years ago. I'm currently in a project which is worth £10 million. Now, 5 years ago, would you ever have imagined somebody who started in property 5 years ago would now be in a project which is worth £10 million? Never, not in a million years would I think that would happen. But I've got myself in that position, and I'm going through all the planning side of things, and I'm learning. But I have those experts that are with me, so that I'm going along this journey with them, and they're teaching me as I go along the journey. So it's a very exciting
Wonderful
time. Yeah.
Well, we are very excited to have you on, and there is so much that you have to offer and share, and really, really grateful that you're willing to actually take time out and, you know, step forward and share and just change lives, continue to change lives.
Well,
I think that's, so looking forward to that. In the meantime, if people want to contact you or want to, you know, check out some of the work that you're doing, some of the support that you offer, where can they find you and how can they find you?
So I have a company called Saluka Property Investments, and you can go to our website, which is www.saluka.com. Or you can find me on Clubhouse. I've got a big following on Clubhouse, and we're just getting all our Instagram all sorted out, so I'm sure you can find me on there too.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Julia, and we're looking forward to catching you on your show.
Thank you.
Take care.